Right. Hey guys. Hello everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm so happy to be here and just being honest with you, I'm a little freaking out. Okay, but that's only natural. All right. Hey everyone. So happy to see a lot of like-minded people right there, all the colleagues, the teachers. Right. So let's get started. Here we are. How to help students actually remember vocabulary. Right, so Aidana has already introduced me, so told you about myself. So I'm an adult English mentor, and I've been doing that for 11 years, teaching in different contexts. So it was general English, IELTS, and aviation English. So, right, and now so I usually focus on general English, help adult learners to actually reach their goals. Okay, and I want to make this meeting a little bit less formal, a little bit, more engaging. So to do so, because we as teachers, we have a lot of stress, a lot on our plates as it is. So let's just take it easy for a while. And so the first question to ask you is, which cat are you today? So let me know in the chat and put the numbers right there. So just, to lighten up the mood a bit. So guys, okay, number 6. Right. Oh, you guys are in high spirits. Someone is number 2. Number 8. Oh, yeah. Well, it's Saturday. Glad to be here. Oh, thank you. Number 2. Okay. Right. 8 2 3. Someone is 3. Someone is down in the dumps. I hope, yeah, it'll sort itself out. Okay. So most of you are in a good mood. Okay. So happy to see that. Number 2. Okay. Oops. Alrighty. Number 4, 5, anyone? Two more messages, 6 and 4. We've got number 4. Okay. That is so cute. Alrighty. Okay. Well, right. I hope it put you in a good mood because we keep asking our students all these questions, but we are never been yes we are never asked just to choose something funny, and nobody actually asks us how we are. So yeah, I decided to do that for a change. Okay, so let's move on. So we are going to talk about why word lists doesn't work, how to present vocabulary so students really get it, and I'm going to share some techniques, some like exercises to activate and help the vocabulary actually, stick. All right. So let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Actually, I was scrolling threads the other day and I took a few screenshots right there so you can see them here. And there was a user who has been learning English like by themselves. And so this user keeps posting different lists. And so actually trying to learn English and to share it on this platform, and right next to it you can see a photo. It's actually how I learned English back in the day, back in 2010 if I'm not mistaken. So, and the question is, what's wrong with that? So let me know in the chat as well. Is there anything wrong with this list?
Maybe hello, maybe too many words.
Too many words.
Or
Okay.
it also depends whether you like practice them or not. In case it's like you just memorize it one time and it will be like a passive vocabulary, yes, that you don't use probably.
Mm-hmm.
And the words are quite like advanced, yeah, like probably at that point, at this point, probably it's better to use definition, like not like word and translation. Yeah, probably it's better to write
Mm-hmm.
definition.
Yeah, good point. Like too many words as far as we know, yeah, we need to have like just much shorter lists to actually help them remember. So no context, good point, makes sense. Transcription is missing. Yeah, we remember, yes, meaning, form, pronunciation, that's a must. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, hi, Zhanara. So
Hi.
it might be about Home Alone. I think it might be the best example because the meaning of the words might be ambiguous. When I ask my elementary students, which is your favorite Christmas film, they say, One Home. And that is my point.
Right, right. Oh yeah. True story. Okay. So, yeah, actually, all your answers are correct. They actually make sense. Well, that actually doesn't work. Well, probably it works sometimes, but not the way we actually need that. So the problem is that students learn words in isolation and they end up struggling, yeah, with both accuracy and fluency. So what I'm trying to say is, so imagine you just learned all these words and then here we go again, yeah, those common mistakes as one of the members yes brought up this Home Alone film. So common mistakes students make. So just imagine you learned listen and then just listen, yeah, and music separately, and then you keep saying like listen music, wait someone without yes a dependent preposition, strong rain like word for word translation for сильный дождь, yeah, because we know strong is сильный, rain is дождь. What was like, why not repeat the words, decide the problem. And so eventually we keep rolling our eyes, hearing these, mistakes over and over again, and students also keep struggling in terms of accuracy, yeah, and just there is a high chance that it will all lead to these fossilized errors, and that would be much harder, to actually to sort it out. So that is the common problem. So that's all about accuracy. That's why those lists don't work here. And well, next one is, of course, fluency. Imagine you have to make a sentence using 5 different words. Oh my God, I'm already freaked out. Yeah, you have to think which words do you need to use. Then you think of their form, the tense. Then you have to kind of glue them all together. And of course, just that's all about your fluency. Your flow is bad. You actually lose it. You keep, stumbling upward words, stutter, pause, and yeah, it feels like you need to build a car from scratch every time you need to go somewhere. Okay, and um, and it actually, yeah, it's so energy and time consuming, just building it from scratch all the time. But why bother? Why bother if you have like a the whole car. You can always get in, roll your windows down, put the good music, and enjoy the ride. That's it. So, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, learning separate words, especially using those lists here, it's like, imagine I give you 1,000 Lego pieces to build a house. Of course, it's pretty doable to build a house, but it'll take you forever to do that, right? And yeah, so it's like a long journey, of course. But if I give you like ready-made pieces, like pre-built, I don't know, doors, windows, uh, just just like those collocations and chunks right there, so you'll build a house in a jiff. Okay, probably not in a jiff, but it'll be much easier for you to build one. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So probably you're all familiar with this concept, like lexical approach, chunks, and collocations. Well, there's nothing new about that. So that was about presenting the vocabulary here. Okay, and yeah. So my question is how to actually remember students, how to actually help students to remember all the vocabulary, how to help them remember it all. Let me know in the chat.
Can I use a voice?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So they need to use it again and again and again, more than 5 times. So maybe it might be pre-teaching, then some questions, then they need to build something with it, then they can meet it in the text or in the audio. So my previous English teacher, she called it like touching the vocabulary. So they need to touch it more than 5 times.
All right, good. So repetition, revising, reviewing, recycling, good. Anything else? Make examples, make more practice, pre-teaching, making stories and sentences. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right, guessing, cross and notes, pre-teaching, repetition, good. Okay. All right, guys. Well, actually, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's impossible to help them remember everything. So, yeah, we kind of have to come to terms with that. They won't remember everything. Yeah, as much as I hate to admit that, but yeah, here is some home truth. Yes, you won't remember everything, but we can help them remember something they actually really need. And to do so, of course, we need to take into account these things, such as students' goals, their age, and of course, lesson aims, yeah, lesson objective. Well, let's say that your student is a stay-at-home mom who is raising a bilingual kid. And do you actually think she needs, like, talking about fast fashion or I don't know, climate change? Well, probably no. So the lesson will be revolving around some vocabulary like, go potty, uh, something scratching your eyes, all about like uh, different kinds of parents and so on. So we are taking into account, yeah, your actual goal. And yeah, probably talking about climate change. Yeah, there is no harm in that, of course, but she won't probably, if she, yeah, will not actually remember anything about that because she doesn't use it on a day-to-day basis. Or let's take this woman, she runs her own business, like a very successful businesswoman right there, and all she needs is to negotiate successfully with her partners. Do you think she needs talking about, art or I don't know, sports. All she needs to do is seal the deal, and that's it. So yeah, so that is really, really important, yeah. So to take into account these things, their goals, their age, lesson objective, and there are like high chances to that actually the vocabulary sticks with them. Something that is actually that have something to do with their lives, with something they do, something that they do on a day-to-day basis. All right. So so how do we actually help students remember? Not at all, but something they really need? Of course. So this old school way is we give it as homework, just saying. Learn it all by heart, or I don't know, we send them these Quizlet sets to remember that. But what would be the better way to do so? So let me know in the chat what would be the better way to do so. What would be like a new approach? Lexical fork, maybe?
Yeah,
Meaning?
maybe make someone wrote it in the chat. Yeah, maybe ask them to write some sentences with words. In that case, we will know that they know the context. Like,
Associations. Okay. Right. Making sentences with them. Good. Okay. Relate to their real life. Make up sentences based on their daily life. Practice every time. Listen audio tasks. Use them in sentence. Make a story. Okay. Quizlet. Yeah. All but gold. Games. All right. So again, yeah, so all the ideas are good. But so we have to remember the stages before actually making different stories, making sentences. So you have to do it right here in class. Because, well, I work with adults and they're all busy. They constantly have a lot on their plates, juggling work and family and kids and business and whatnot. And of course, they kind of neglect their homework. They just keep, forgetting about that. So that's why the better way would be to do it right here in class. Well, I think also if you work with teens and children, you can also relate to that because, yeah, homework is like some kind of a sore point. All right. Okay. So when I'm trying to say that you have to do it right here in class, I'm not trying to say like you kind of force them. Okay, remember them here. Like you won't let them out and kind of force them to learn English, learn the words, these collocations. No, of course we are not trying to violate their boundaries or do it in that way. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, so we need to do that through memorization here. So we actually need to use their working memory, and as in Russian we call it like operativka. So here we can see this extract from the book How to Teach Vocabulary by Scott Thornbury. So they need to be placed in working memory and subjected to different operations. So being taken apart, put back together again, being compared, combined, matched, sorted, visualized, and reshuffled, as well as being repeatedly filed away and recalled. So the first step is to, do different manipulations with these words. So we don't actually force them to learn them by heart and remember. First of all, we need to do different tasks like that. So you probably saw them in the books. So let me just show you. So for example, here, yeah, this is the task for elementary students. So they have to write the words in the chart, yes, in the right column. So they just doing some, manipulations using these words. So just writing them, yeah, food, technology, sports, or places, or matching photos and words. So a lot of my students actually complain about this testing, like what are we, like a 5-year-old kid or something? Then I'm trying to explain them that how working memory action actually works, right? So matching exercises. What else? Also deciding if this word's connected to jobs, clothes, or work, yeah, or shopping here. Just let them use them, but not in their speech. Probably just using, this. It's on the tip of my tongue. Just give me a minute. So, actually, yeah. So let them use this. So we've got productive skills and I forgot that, guys. Help me. Receptive. Yeah, receptive.
Yes,
Right,
it
receptive.
happens
Yes,
to
thank you. Yeah, receptive skills. So let them actually look at these words. Let them actually do different manipulations with these words. Just put them in the right order. Just put them together and apart. So just by doing different manipulations, so chances are they will actually remember them. So that's actually the first step. Or for example, I always do it with my students. So whenever we've got this target vocabulary and as a warming up activity, I always make some different questions. For example, would you rather do this or that? So we've got this vocabulary, yeah, have some me time or hang out with friends, lash out, stay silent, be out of someone's hair, get involved in everything here. So you can actually do it as a warming up activity. So you have this emergent vocabulary or target vocabulary they have and make questions. So first of all, don't make them use the words right away. First of all, just let them read the words, hear the words, actually look at them first of all. Just
Sorry
let
for
them
disturbing. May I add something here to your topic? So
shoot.
thank you. What I do with my students, I try to make a real authentic examples from their real life. So where they can find those words in Kazakhstan or in their city. It may be sometimes a name of some brands. It may be sometimes name of the shop near to their house, or some slangs, or so. Try to make these new words find the connection with their mind.
Mm-hmm.
For example, um, jewelry, where they can find, or accessorize. These are like brands that you can find in any mega, especially for girls. So I say in that way. So girls, do you remember when you buy some jewelries in the shop, accessorize, they are written. So I try always give them the real facts that they can find meet in their city. I found
Mm-hmm.
this way is the fastest way to remember new vocabularies. I remember there was one word, for example, London is located. So location, locate, what is locate? So we opened from our Tugis application. And first of all, we changed the language in setting part and showed from Tugis where we are sitting, and this is our location, and it shows in our Tugis like in rounded gray color. So I say this is our location. So located.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, значит, So the place that you are sitting. So London is located. London is sitting where? So you see. So I always try to make them real examples. For example, the word set, just set, 3 letters. So again, we go to our mobile phone, change the language into English, then go to setting button again. And you see it is settings. Что значит? So настройка, set, the coding of the word. The same with notes, the word notes, note, you can find in your mobile phone again. So this is my really big life hack that I found in my teaching way. Always try to find out or connect with the real examples that they can face in their everyday life.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you for
Thank you,
listening.
Asil, for sharing. Thanks. Yeah. So you're right. So noticing works wonders. Yeah. Was that this way? All right, good. So, yeah, as I said, receptive skills. So first of all, make them notice the words, actually hear them, try to arrange them, put them in separate groups. Yeah. And so we actually do it through questions, dialogues, exercises, texts. You can also send them different screenshots, yeah, with this in their group chat. So they would notice its vocabulary, and yeah, it actually helps students remember the vocabulary here. Okay, right. So that was the first part. So we don't use the vocabulary right away. We are getting there. So the next part is activation. So this is putting words to use. Yeah. So again, Scott Thornberry here. So he says, use it or lose it. Yeah. So just that is the best way of ensuring they are added to long-term memory. As you all mentioned before, making up sentences, what was that? Games, um, guessing, making examples, and other ways you actually mentioned. So just before using that, we are doing some noticing, and then we are trying to do that. But still, we also have to divide it into controlled practice and freer practice. Okay, so how? So using controlled practice, so we actually force them to use these collocations, as you said, make up a story, tell a story, write a motto, a joke, a slogan using these collocations, yeah? So we try to actually mention that in our tasks that you need to do this and that using these collocations, yeah? And you just attach the list of these collocations. So that's what you do. That is what controlled practice is. Okay, so for example, make up a story, and we have some pictures right there. Wait for a bus, yes, scroll through the feed, do a makeup, put on makeup here. And then after that, we've got freer practice here. So, and here, that is the most challenging, I guess, because you have to develop tasks so that students would use the vocabulary you need without actually asking them. So you need to develop these tasks so that it triggers specific vocabulary. So we develop tasks that trigger specific vocabulary. We ask questions so that words come out. These words come out of their mouths, so to say. Setting up different role plays, dialogues that actually forces them to use these words here. Well, that is one of the most challenging things because we have to actually remember, but we actually have to, yeah, kind of brainstorm how to pull it off. Okay, so and you always have to ask yourself, will this task actually provoke the language I need? Is it actually reaching the goal I set? So let's give it a try. For example, we need the student to use this collocation, have breakfast, right there. And let's do it through the question. For example, yeah, what do people do as soon as they brush their teeth? For example, here. Now, can you put your own ideas on how to trigger this exact collocation? So what questions can we ask to hear this collocation, to trigger it? So put it in the chat, please. Now you see it's challenging. Okay. We actually need to, so Alimjan, yeah, what people do before having breakfast. Well, we actually need to make them use this have breakfast. So try again. What helps you to have energy in the morning, right? But if they say like a short workout, but this is a good one. What helps you? You say wrong. All right. Okay. Anyone else, guys? What do you do when you're hungry in the morning? Yeah, this is spot on. Do you eat in the morning? Okay. Right. Okay. So let's try another one. Let's say workout. So you need to hear that. You need to check if they actually remember this one. What comes after making breakfast? Oh, I don't know. Putting your feet up? No. Going to work? What helps you to have energy in the morning? Again. What if they say breakfast? What do you do to be fit? All right. Keep in shape. How to make a question, Aida, so that they use this exact phrasal verb. What do you do in the gym? Uh-huh. Right. Terrific. What do people go? Why do people go to the gym? Wonderful. Okay. Let's do another round. What do you do to keep in shape? Right. Go to school by bus. How do you get to school? I walk to school. How do you travel to school? I go there by taxi. How do you travel to school? Okay, good, good. So I'm just kidding. How students from distant village get to school? Right. What public transport do you use to go to school? Okay, you pointed out public transport. Right. Have you ever heard about yellow buses? Why do children need them? Hmm. All right. Okay. So I guess you guys got my point. Yeah. So that's what I actually meant by triggering this vocabulary here. So make them actually use the words they need, the phrases they need without telling them to do so. So you just kind of trigger them, yeah, to use the specific vocabulary right there. So that's what you actually do. Okay, so, well, probably, yeah, you kind of have to think a lot about that. Okay, do you like going to school by bus or on foot? All right, but still, yeah, we need to kind of, so they would actually use go to school by bus. This one. So do you like going to school by bus or on foot? It's more of a, memorization part, yeah? So it's more of this one. When you ask these questions, yeah, making them notice this vocabulary, like go to school by bus or on foot. Okay, so let's move on. Alrighty. Okay, so next step is recalling. You bring it back and digging it out of their heads, yes, as much as you can. So you actually, yeah, do it like every once in a while to make sure they actually remember that. Just reflecting on that, getting back to that. So it's very, very important just to make sure they actually remember this one. Okay, to do so, for example, again, as a warm-up activity, you can also use these different kind of tasks to remember the vocabulary. For example, here, oh, sorry, it's playing up a bit. Okay, here, that was with my upper intermediate students right there. So that was some vocabulary we talked about. So I attached some pictures and they tried to actually guess, yeah, what is this about? Juggle work and family, have a lot on my plate, means your words down to earth. Of course, you uh, put these pictures without any labels, without any um, answers below them, and they have to kind of figure it out. Or, for example, this kind of a task. Sorry. Here, let's take a look at this one. Yeah, so we've got fill in the gap activities. So they are trying to, again, work out the meaning of the phrases, just to remember them, completing the gaps. Yeah. You can also make it personalized. Yeah, I tend to lash out. There was this phrase, yeah, lash out. This collocation, phrasal verb, lash out when, and they need to finish it up with their own ideas here. Or you can also use sticky notes, yes, just with definitions. A city you'd steer clear of. Yeah, maybe there was a particular city we were talking about. The grandest building you've ever been in. Here. Okay, so that's what you actually do. Okay, someone wrote Delhi, someone texted Delhi. All right, good. So, and of course, as soon as you're done with one unit, we do this revision task. Reviewing is yeah, here about re-exposing yourself to the material and checking if you've actually understood it. So again, we've got different tests and tasks to actually check if everyone remembers that. Well, that's probably what it looks like. So these were the main steps of how to actually help students remember the vocabulary. And just to get some more information, you can check out this book. So I recommend you all reading this one because yeah, we've seen some extras from that. So it's all about operativka, working memory, and how it actually works right there. And yeah, so we have a question and answer session right now. So, do you have any questions? So feel free to actually, yeah, turn your mics on or put it in the chat.
Thank you so much, Zhanara. That was an amazing experience that you shared, and seeing how actively everyone was engaged, doing the tasks, brainstorming ideas together. I think the webinar was a success. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure the members took some notes, screenshots, and hopefully they will share one or two on social media as well, tagging Casualty and you, of course. Dear members, thank you for your time. If you have some questions, please feel free to unmute and ask them or put in the chat. And if you don't mind, it's lately has become kind of a tradition. We take a group photo at the end of the webinar so that we can share it in the chat and post on our Instagram. So if you don't mind, and if you can stop the demonstration. Dear members, also if you don't mind, and most of you are our most active participants who do not miss any webinars. If you don't mind, if you can turn on your cameras, we'll take a few screenshots so that we can share it later in the chat and on Instagram. I'm always happy to see the same faces every Saturday when we have webinar. I'm so
Hey.
grateful to these people who don't miss, who take every opportunity to learn and to exchange experiences. So I'm counting 3. Smile. 1, 2. Okay, some people are turning on. I'm waiting. Okay, I think that's it. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, one more time in case someone blinked. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. If there are any questions, any feedback that you would like to share, please feel free. There are some questions, by the way, Zhanara, in the chat.
Yeah, I can see them. Right. So, guys, I'm getting back to you. All right. How many vocabulary units is it better to teach at once? Well, according to all the books and all the rules, so many people say 7 to 8 units, but I think that's quite flexible. It all depends on the students. Sometimes you can give them more if you just feel like there is this capacity that they are actually able to memorize more than that. Well, it all depends on the students, right? Although a traditional 7 to 8 units, but it can be more or less. So it all depends on their actual ability, on how diligent they are. Right. Does it work to adult learners? Can you share your experience? Well, actually, yeah. So all these screenshots you see, they were actually. I'm teaching adults. Yes, I do. So that was all about adults, right? So here you can see all these examples, and yeah, they are actual yeah screenshots from my Miro board. So like getting a great journal your thoughts and so on. So it works with them. So thank you, Zhanara. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining. Thanks a bunch. And guys, if you don't mind, yeah, you can also just let's keep in touch. You can just scan this screenshot, this QR code. Sorry, yeah, and just follow me on Instagram. So let's keep in touch and tag me in your stories if you took any photos. Yeah, I would be more than happy. So, do we have any more questions? Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Zhanara. And as one of her followers on Instagram, I can say for sure she does share some interesting tips on teaching. She shares some stories that happened to her, like happened during lessons, after lessons, before lessons, so different kind of stuff. And she's a very interesting person just to follow. So I really recommend that. And Zhanara, thank you so much for your time. When I contacted you, I was sure that this webinar is going to be an amazing thing to attend. And I'm really grateful to all the people who joined today and supported and was engaged and active. Thank you so much. Next week, we're going to have another webinar. I will share the announcement today, a little bit later. And it will be for people who are thinking about professional development, who are thinking about going abroad, studying. If you've heard about Fulbright program, we will have amazing 2 speakers next week, Saturday, who will share their experience of application and all the knowledge and experience they gained. So hopefully I'll see you next Saturday as well. And you're also welcome, Zhanara, if you want to attend.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I had a blast. Thank you, Aidana. Thanks to KZLT. Yeah, I got the chance to actually share
Thank
this
you so
the different life hacks and tips. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week. I hope you will enjoy your weekends. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.